Hello and welcome to the chapter 14 lecture video, and today we are going to be talking about proposals. So we're going to do a few different things. We are going to define proposals and determine the purpose. We're going to plan to write them. We're going to talk about the composition and the differences between informal and formal proposals. So first, let's start off with the question, what is a proposal? So a proposal is going to be a persuasive document, and it is going to offer a solution to a problem or a need that has been previously identified. They try to sell an idea, a product or service, or a new concept or plan. The successful proposal is going to persuade your audience to accept your offered solution and to invest in your idea, product, plan, or service. Now, proposals can be internal or they can be external. So internal proposals usually try to sell an idea or a plan, whereas an external proposal is going to try to sell goods or services as well as ideas. So readers can also be internal or external. So internal readers are going to be inside the writer's organization, and external readers are going to be outside of the organization. Now, informal proposals are generally going to be brief, from 1 to 10 pages, have flexible organization plans, be much less formal, so using less formal language, and are frequently presented as a letter or a memo. Now, formal proposals, on the other hand, are usually going to address an external audience. Sometimes that audience is going to be completely unfamiliar with what you are trying to do. They're organized according to standard elements of a formal research report, and they are longer, and they're going to contain more parts than your informal proposals, because you are going to have to be more explicit with someone who is less familiar with the topic within that external audience. Now, solicited versus unsolicited. A solicited proposal is one that someone asks you to write. So it might feel like, or it might look like something like an RFP or a request for proposal. Now, an unsolicited proposal is when the writer is going to identify a problem themselves and be able to explain it and offer a solution. So you can see the difference between that solicited and unsolicited. Now, there are 4 different types of proposals here. The sales proposal is going to try to sell a product or a service. A research proposal is going to ask for approval to begin a study or an investigation. A grant proposal is going to ask for money for a specific project or for a specific reason. And a planning proposal is going to persuade an audience to take particular action towards something. When you format a proposal, that's really determined by your audience's needs and what the function of the proposal is. A lot of times, you're only going to read the portions that have to do with their department. So your reader is going to evaluate the proposal and accept or reject the suggestions based on the data presented in the section that they review. Hence, there's a lot of repetition sometimes in proposals. So a problem-solving strategy such as this one can help you stay focused on your problem. Determine whether you have a problem or a need. Define that problem and your purpose. Conduct preliminary research regarding that problem and purpose. Determine the scope and limitations of your study. Identify the factors or subparts of the problem. Brainstorm possible solutions. Gather data to support the possible solutions, and if possible, test and evaluate those solutions. The organizational strategy of the informal proposal is designed with someone who is very busy but needs to make decisions in mind. You're going to open with the most important information the reader needs to know. Typically, your informal proposal is going to contain a summary, an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. The summary is going to be an abstract or condensed version of an overview of the entire proposal. The introduction is going to present the problem, the solution, and any background information the reader is going to need. The body is the main section. It's going to cover the facts and figures, and that is what's going to be the evidence supporting your point of view. And the conclusion is going to wrap up the report and hopefully spur your reader into action. Drafting the body. So in the body section, proposal writers are going to address some of these topics, if not all of them. Methods, scheduling, capabilities and qualifications, materials and equipment, results, expected results, plan for evaluating the results, the feasibility, a budget, usually the budget's in a table, and possibly justification. Now, formal proposals are going to be different than your informal proposals in a few different ways. So the tone, the detached professional voice writers might use with a high-level official. The additional parts of the proposal, a glossary, appendices, and transmittal correspondence are going to be there in a formal, not necessarily in an informal. And the complexity of the outcome being proposed is going to be different between the two different types of proposals. Since a proposal is often longer than other technical reports, a lot of times we do something called pre-writing. So during pre-writing, you're going to plan for your persuasion. So with that, you're going to want to add your facts, your accuracy, the realistic plans, and taking the reader's point of view into account. You're going to want to integrate the parts of the proposal and then add graphics, definitions, and supplemental materials around what you've already have there just to make things clear. Formal proposals do have a letter or a memo of transmittal, which is going to begin with the purpose, note the area of interest, and thank the audience for reviewing the proposal. It is going to have a title page with a descriptive title, usually company names involved, writers involved, and dates. It will have a table of contents and a list of illustrations. It will have an executive summary or an abstract. It's only going to be 2 to 4 pages, and that's typically written last. You're going to have an introduction, which is going to be your what and why. They should be strong and clear and written in a way that many different levels of people can understand. Then you get to the body. So this is going to be the main portion. You're going to explain how technical data and how that proves the value of your idea. You're going to describe specific tasks and qualifications of the people needed to perform the tasks. You're going to include budget, that's going to and the justifications for that budget and why you need the money. And you can include graphics. You are going to have a conclusion or a summary, and it's going to be concise. There's going to be no new information presented in this section, and is going to summarize the most convincing points on importance of the project and benefits of the solution. If needed, you can add a glossary at the end, and that's going to be designed to be very easy to read. You're going to indicate where in the body these specific words are that you've picked out. You do not define words the audience already knows, so we don't want to be redundant. So avoid overly technical definitions unless your proposal is for a group of highly technical people. You are going to have a works cited or a reference page, and of course this is going to consult your style manual to make sure that you've used it properly. Finally, at the end, you do have appendices. So this is going to include any additional information that would be helpful to your readers. Each item is a separate appendix, and each appendix is identified by a number or a letter. So a lot of times you'll say Appendix A, but then you need to add a descriptive title, Diagram of Mechanism X. Page numbers. So finally, let's wrap up with page numbers. You prefer materials numbered with lowercase Roman numerals, the letter, the memo of the transmittal, and first page. You don't have to put a page number on those. So the first page with a number is actually going to be your page 2. So that's something that you need to remember. So again, all the materials that would be considered the front matter, like the title, table of contents, the list of illustrations, those are all going to be your Roman numerals. And then you start on page 2, which is the first page of the actual document. As always, I'm available via email or phone call if you need me, and I will see you in the next lecture.